Okay, so in design class, to create our documentary book, we used InDesign to design our book. And I have like around 37 pages or so that's a lot of pages. So I'll just show you how I did one of my pages, and I'm gonna pick this page. So what I did for my book a lot was put images as my background, and so I'll show you how I did that. So what you have to do is use the command key, Command D. Once you do that, it will open in Finder, and just navigate through it and find your picture that you want to place. And so once you find that, you just press open and it should pop up in your InDesign. I'm not going to do that now, but yeah, that's how you do it. And so once you put your image, and this is my image, you can, resize it, make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever you want to do. But one rule is it definitely has to reach this red line, and that's the bleed line. And you want to at least reach it or exceed it, because if you don't, once it prints it, it's going to cut off weirdly and there'll be a white line or something. So you definitely don't want that, especially if you're doing a full bleed like I am. And so what you also had to do was change the resolution. I'm going to Command Z for a second. So I shot in RAW, which you're not supposed to do. And so since I did that for every image, I had to change it in Photoshop. And so I'll show you. Let's see. This is my image, and as you can see, it says 72 right there. You have to change that. So how you do that is just right click, go to Edit with Adobe Photoshop, and once you click that, it will open, and you have to change the image size and the resolution to 240. And so I finished my book already, so it's fine. But that's the basics of the image. And so what I also did is I made it gradient, because I wanted this image to be here but also kind of go through the second page, but at the same time I didn't want to do that because it would be hard to read the fonts. So I just used the gradient tool right here. This is the gradient tool, and if you do that, it changes the gradient and stuff, but I'm not going to do that now. And so that was just the basics of how I place my photos. And this thing right here, that is, I guess, my design element that I implemented. This I designed in Illustrator. So I just opened Illustrator, used the paintbrush tool and just the brush tool, and just drew a couple of designs and patterns and see which one I liked. Once I had one that I liked, and since my theme was the art museum, I want to use brushstrokes, and I don't think you can do that in design, so I couldn't do that, so I just used Illustrator. And then what I did was copied it from Illustrator and pasted it here. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but I did that, and I think it's fine. It worked out fine. So I think I can do it, but don't quote me on it. But yeah, that's what I did. These two are the different patterns I did, and I have that all over my book too. Another big thing that we had to do is choose nice fonts, and these are the fonts that I chose. And what you have to do, of course you can pick the fonts they provide you, but you want to have really unique looking fonts. So what we did was went to thefonts.com. And so this is one of the fonts that I use, and just click download. And so right now I have 25 errors, and that's a lot of errors. And that's because I actually designed my book at home, and then I designed it here, and I just back and forth. And so every time you do that, you have to link your images or your text, or else InDesign won't detect it. And so I already finished my book, so it's fine, but these are basically the fonts that I'm still missing and the images. So I'll just show you how you link them. So right, go back to the fonts, click download, and then go to Finder. And so this is my font, Fly Me to the Moon. Once you do that, just drag it on over here to your folder, because you want to link it, right? Click on it, install fonts, and it should be installed. Once it does that, as you can see, the errors went down to 6 errors only. And so that was around, the error went away. So that changed drastically. Another thing that we had to do was put in our text. And so that's a really simple process. Just go to the text box, create a text box, and then put in your essay or whatever. And so that's what we did. And also we made it into 3 columns as a requirement. Another thing that I want to talk about is this image. I edited this in Photoshop and made it into a ping, and then just Command D and opened it here. But the cool part is you can wrap your text around your images, and how I did that was just put my image in and then click that, and it says wrap around object shape, and that's what you want, or you can do this or whichever, but it doesn't work for mine. But I picked that, or if you pick this, then it covers that thing up, so you don't want that. So however you place your images, remember to wrap around like the text. And then so I did the same thing for this box right here. This is a text box that I used to put in my interview quotes, and we had to do that. So what you do is, again, open the text box, type your whatever you need to type in, and then put wrap around object shape. Another thing I did was, I put in this box as my background, and this fades into this picture fades into this box. And so what I did was just take my rectangle tool, put it in, pick whatever color you want. Right now it's white and transparent. So yeah, I picked gray, and then after that, just use the gradient tool. So, and then just make a gradient, and then it should work. Right now it doesn't have color, so obviously it didn't work, but once you do that, it should fade into the second picture, like how I did it. If you want to do that, you can do that. I'm gonna Command Z that. Okay. And also you can see in the background, I put in brushstrokes too, again. But then I didn't want it to be hard to read, so I had to put this box, but at the same time I didn't want to make it so dark that it just looks like that. So what I did is change the opacity for that, and I think that's around it. Yeah, to design that, and again I took the brushstrokes from Illustrator and put it in here, and this is how I designed one of my pages. And if you want to see the rest of my pages and how I designed it, check out my book. Thank you.